In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord. In Amen we trust, in Amen we think, and in Amen we will continue forward forever as the 144,000 within the Republic of MENTELLECT. Good evening. This is your host, Indira Mendez on MENTELLECT Radio, and today's date is Thursday, April 19, 2018, and tonight's topic is going to be about the importance of consistency in action. This is a 30 to 45 minute podcast, so you all can stay tuned. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about that comes to mind is why the consistency of thought will always be productive. And one of the things that you have to be mindful of is that usually you have people pondering about a particular thing, which also leads up to them making a choice, or 9 times out of 10 making a decision. But usually 9 times out of 10 when you make a decision, it falls under the category of being reliable. Okay, so basically when a decision is made, that means you gave it a thorough thought about something. It's something that you've been pondering about. And your thought pattern or how you think and what you're thinking about has a level of consistency to it, because everything has to add up. If something don't add up or something you feel is not gonna make sense in the end or anything like that, you're gonna always do adjustments to that particular thought. And then the outcome, the productive part of it all. So usually 9 out of 10 when you come up with that solution, your decision that you make is reliable, okay? And then respect of mind. The fact that you are able to respect the fact of thinking before you say and do, or just thinking or considering things, outside of yourself, or decisions that, have to be made on a personal or as a collective, or whatever the case might be. It just goes to show that you have a respect of mind, your own mind and the minds of others who think with the same capacity in terms of thinking before they do and before they say. Okay, so how sometimes the saying goes, you have respect of person. Basically, you know how to conduct yourself in terms of manners, having manners. You know how to speak to people, that you having a one-on-one respect of person. But when it comes down to respect of mind, that means you giving more thought. There's no such thing as you overthinking or underthinking, whatever the case might be. 9 times out of 10, if you are underthinking, that basically means that you are thinking with the capacity of your emotions, and you're being led with your emotions, which will lead to the instability of results or actions made, to whereas mistakes will be made and you have to learn from it because of a choice that you made without giving things thought and consideration. So usually if you react or do things without thinking, 9 times out of 10, you don't have respect of mind in terms of taking the time out to think before you actually do or say or do anything. Okay? Usually 9 times out of 10, a person, like I said, that has a respect of mind is usually well-grounded, and they are alert, and they are always thinking. They are very observant, of their surroundings and how they interact with people. They're very conscious. Their conscious level is very high, okay? To whereas they know how to deal with situations, people, places and possessions accordingly, and effectively and efficiently, which I'm going to talk about later on in the broadcast. So they basically are mindful. They mind out for particular things and people. Okay? Now, the next thing would be the result of your thoughts and actions being productive. Okay? It can be on the personal. When you decide that you're gonna stop doing something and start doing something that's healthy and productive for you. So let's say you stop doing something that never served any purpose to you. You stop doing it altogether and start doing something and adopting, good and better habits for yourself, to live out your lifestyle and into the capacity of you no longer doing the things that you've done in the past or no longer served you any purpose. Okay, so that's when your thoughts and the things that you do becomes productive, when you get results out of the decisions that you choose to make. Okay, so that's something to be mindful of, and why, my thoughts on why the consistency of a person's thoughts will always be productive. Okay, so one of the things you want to always do, instead of making choices in life, as you get older, you will learn that making a decision is better than making a choice in life, because you are allowing yourself the time and the capacity to make a solid and sufficient decision in the things that you do, especially when it's pertaining to your life. Okay, so you're not told how to, think or what to think, or whatever the case might be. You will be able to exercise your thoughts and, actions accordingly. Okay. And another thing that I wanted to put out there is that for the youth, 9 times out of 10, I understand that you feel that learning by experience is the only way to be efficient, but not always all the time that it's efficient, because then you allow yourself to make mistakes. Mistakes are basically when you choose to make a decision, and let's say you decided to do something and it didn't work out. You have to have a plan A. Okay, and let's say that plan A didn't work out, then you realize that you made a mistake and that you have to learn from that mistake. 9 times out of 10, we, as a young person, you make useless decisions and you make useless mistakes, to whereas it's either going to delay you in you moving forward, or it's not going to allow you to be effective and efficient. It's going to be a stumbling block because of the result of the choices that you chose to make. So if somebody come to you and they telling you word of mouth, by experience, usually an older person or seasoned person tell you something, they telling you for your own good, okay? Because they've been through it. They're not telling you how, they're not trying to tell you how to run your life or what to do, but at the end of the day, they're telling you so that way you don't have to make the same mistakes. So you have to take that wisdom along with you in life as a younger person and moving forward in life. Okay, so that's something to be mindful of. Okay, 9, 10, and 10 is not just because it's an old and young thing when dealing with people. No, people, have your best interest at heart, but you also have to be the one to have a bigger interest of what you need to do in your future in life. Okay, so that's something to just be mindful of for the youth. Okay, now moving along to how to maintain a consistency in your actions. Okay, because I always feel like anytime you are consistent in anything that you do is a good character, a good rapport about yourself, and it makes you a reliable person. Okay, so it's a good ethnic to have, or just in general, for you to just be that type of person where you say the things, what you mean and mean what you say, and you always follow through whatever it is that you say that you would do. That consistency is it will reap or produce results. One of the things is how to maintain that consistency in action is you always have to follow through with your plans or proposals. Okay, now for those who are listening, there's a vast difference between plans and proposals. Plans are basically, if you are doing something, you set yourself out, in life, it could be a goal or a path, a lifestyle that you want to live, and let's say it's just not for you. You could be probably going to school, or you probably practicing some type of, spiritual quest, and you like, this is not right for me. It doesn't feel right, because you in search of the truth, and you don't know, you just not, you just don't have a solid decision made, and you're unsure, is what I'm saying. So let's say you follow through with those plans, or whatever the case might be, and it's just you just going through an experience. You just wanting, to go through an experience, but then you have a plan A. Okay, plan A for just in case if that don't work out. Okay, and that plan A is not so much of the alternative. It's just something that you want to do to either reap a different outcome of the production of your thoughts. Okay, and the way I see it, there's no such thing as plan B or plan C, because nobody have time to waste their lives. Okay, and if you have a plan B or plan C, you're basically planning to fail, and I explain why. Okay, 9 times out of 10, when you have a plan A, okay, and you doing something, and let's say you are in school, and you say to yourself, I'm going to be studying this one particular field, but then you get into your second sophomore year, and you realize, this is not for me, I don't like this, but then you have an alternative study that you would like to get into. So that's your only plan A, in which you will do differently, but still on the path to success. So you got to work that plan, until you get results. So you got to exhaust the plan A until you actually reach where you need to be, your goals. Okay, when you do that, it's more 9 times out of 10, you will be effective and efficient in your decisions and at executing it. Okay, this is why it's important. But 9 times out of 10, when you go to a plan B and you like, oh, I got a plan B alternative, that basically means that 9 times out of 10, your plan B may be efficient, but it may not be effective to where change is going to happen or you're going to get results. Okay, so it's like you're wasting time. That's failure. Okay, when you say, oh, well, I'm going to get down to the last resort to plan C. Now, you can be effective in what you're doing, but not necessarily efficient, because let's say efficient, you probably losing sleep, you probably not eating, there's a lot of dysfunctions with plan C, which most people might say, oh, that person's just sacrificing. That's not how, when you plan, that's not how it's supposed to be. A plan A is supposed to be something that's not so much of just a sacrifice as in you are depriving yourself. Not like that. What I'm saying is that when you choose to do a plan C, like I said, you may be effective and not efficient to where you're lacking in certain areas. You are basically deficient in certain areas. So you're not efficient, but you may be effective in getting results, but it's hurting you along the way. Okay, so that's why I say plan A, you got to work that plan A as if, your life depended on it. That's how you have to be. No plan B, no plan C. Because if you say plan B, plan C, any alternative, you plan to fail. Okay? Period. So, a proposal in particular is basically when someone say, okay, well, I'm presenting. 9 times out of 10 is usually either a business, proposal, or somebody just proposing to do something, and they using in the form of proposal that they will do something, or in turn for something, to be reciprocated. Okay, so a proposal now is basically a person just giving a word on something, and they have to actually follow through with whatever it is that proposal is, or whatever was in the effect or in agreement. You have to follow it through. It's not, I can't do this, or I can't do it. You get in the middle of it, or whatever it is that you're doing, or I can't do it no more. You got to follow through with consistency. Okay, consistency is basically if you was responsible to do X, Y, Z, then that's what you should be doing. It's not, oh, one day I'm going to do it, then the next day I'm not going to do it, the next day I'm not going to do it, I'm going to do it this way to make up for whatever I didn't do this day. No, consistent all the way from the start to the end in your proposal. That's how you have to be, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, when you switch your mindset, or you switch your thoughts or decisions, or whatever the case might be, or choices that you make, 9 times out of 10, it causes you to fall even more backwards, and you be like, damn, why did I even go with my second thought or second decision? That's even for the people that are always second guessing themselves. Oh, is this right? Is this not right? Whatever the case might be, stop second guessing yourself, because 9 times out of 10, your first thought is the right thought. Okay? And it's just a matter of you reasoning with that first thought and following things through, thinking things through with that first thought. Okay? And then moving along to focusing on the effect and efficiency of your plans in order to execute. That's one of the things that you have to do, even in that situation, as I said. You know, how you have a person where they are second guessing themselves, and like I said, they end up doing something totally different from their first thought. Then that just falls under what I'm saying. Not 9 times out of 10, the person is not thinking about the effect or the efficiency of their first thought. They just going off with the execution. Meaning, let's say you are late for work or something like that, and you like, okay, well, if I take this express train or whatever the case might be to work, then I'm gonna get to work quicker. Meanwhile, you on the train on your way to work, and it'll get you there in time for work, but you chose to go on the express train where it's major delays. So you didn't really think about the effect or the efficient part of your decision that you made when going with the second thought. You didn't really think about that on the first thought. You have, all you was thinking about was that you late, and that you just trying to find the quickest way to get to work. Just using the example, and sometimes, it don't always work out right. So even in your first thought, always focus on the effect and efficiency of your plans and then execute it. And do it with reasoning and logic. That's how you have to deal with it. Some people get into the mode of panicking, or they feel that, oh, okay, well, I got to do this, I got to do that. You can't. That means you are allowing your emotions to take control of you when you are in the panic state, or you feel, certain things is going to happen, or this is going to happen, or, whatever the case might be. When you have those types of thoughts, that's not really useful for you. Okay, so now moving along to another thing, how you can let yourself stand out with consistency is to keep a signature profile and appearance that'll make you stand out as unique. Now, don't get me wrong, I know some people are motivated, inspired by others, and want to be just like particular people, but you at the end of the day, nobody can be you. Okay, and when you bring that uniqueness, who you are, I don't care what kind of idiosyncrasies that you may have, or something, or whatever the case might be, that makes you different. It could be your voice, the sound of your voice, the way you look, the way you walk, the way you talk. It could be something that's a signature look about yourself, not just style, or whatever the case might be. Something that just make you stand out and be unique. Okay, it can be how you treat people in particular, and that's just in your nature of how you are. That's your signature of look, how you present yourself, because the way you treat other people shows how you treat yourself as well. And there's no such thing as people where, you got some people are people pleasers where they try to please everybody else, but then forget about themselves. That may be on the outside. It may appear that way on the outside, but 9 times out of 10, that person take very good in themselves because they have a very peaceful state of mind. Okay, so there's the 2 different types of people pleasers. You got those type of people pleasers that try to be on the good side of other people because they just want to get down, they just want a title, they just want that, and that's very stressful. But for the people that are genuinely, cordial with other people, very kind, to where sometimes their kindness get, mistaken for weakness, or sometimes people take advantage of those types of people. 9 times out of 10, those people are well off. It's just the people that they encounter that are not right and good. Okay, so that's just something to just keep in mind at the end of the day. Okay, because that's just a signature look about that person. If that person is nice, that person, have that demeanor, that profile about themselves, the 9 times out of 10, that's who they are. Okay, and if people tell you who they are, you all know you gotta believe it. If they tell you, they say I'm a liar, that's who they are. If they say I'm so and so, I'm just not right, that's who they are. Okay, so that's something to keep, to be mindful of in terms of being consistent with your action, your demeanor, who you are, how you deal with people, and things like that. Now, moving along to how the act of consistency is sufficient and stable. It's sufficient because you know what to expect in any general outcomes. Okay, you will know what to expect and how to resolve, certain things accordingly, which is the next thing. Your solution will already be in effect by you either thinking fast or 10 steps ahead of any problem or circumstance or situation that you are in. Okay, so that's how your level of consistency of action is sufficient. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, when you got people in their emotions and they ain't thinking about what they doing, at the end of the day, any outcome, a nasty, ugly outcome, will result of that because you're not thinking. Because at the end of the day, hurt people hurt other people. Basically, people just a ball of emotions and confusion and chaos. Okay, but when you are minding out for these things or whatever the case might be, you understand what to expect in terms of general outcomes, as I said, and you are always thinking fast and 10 steps ahead of these problems or circumstances. Okay, so your solution will already be in effect. It's just a matter of you taking action and executing it, going back to the efficiency and effectiveness of what you want to do and how you want to handle the situation. Okay, so stable because your mind is already equipped and prepared to take action accordingly. Going back to the fact of you, contemplating, thinking about your action. What's the next step that you're gonna, take, or what's the next thing you're gonna do? You're already in effect, and your mind is already equipped and prepared to be that way. So that's why 9 times out of 10, you always know what to expect and what not to expect, in situations. Okay, and then this is just my little personal little thing about myself. Another thing that I find to be very effective and efficient in execution, in the decisions being made and things like that, and just maintaining a level of consistency, is the thing what I call PEOD. Now, I know you probably wondering, like, what she mean by PEOD? PEOD, I just made this up for myself, is a personal drill of emergency. Okay, it's basically like a what if moment. Like when you allow yourself to go through those types of drills, I don't care, it could be a life, altering situation, or it could be a loved one that's going through transition about the past, pass on, or things like that. One of the things is it's good to go through those personal drills of emergency, because it's not only allow you to have your emotions under control, it would allow you to be able to think quickly. Like when you are in a life-altering or a life-threatening, situation, and you are actually just pushed, to that point where you have to make a decision, and you make a decision really fast. 9 out of 10, you got people that would either freeze up, don't know what to do, and 9 times, not so much of not know what to do, is just the fact that they just freeze up and don't take action. They know what to do, in terms of thought, but they'll freeze up. And 9 times out of 10, you have to have those people that just shake them, to get them out of that trance. But you have those people that get that way, where they put in life situations and they never think that it will happen, but it ends up happening. So you have to always be equipped and on your feet, when things happen. So that's why it's always good to equip your mindset or go through those types of drills, so that way you know what to do. Just like when you have those women that go to either boxing class or drills or whatever the case might be, just because they want to learn self-defense. That's because they're trying to equip themselves mentally and emotionally, having the emotions under control, where they're not being emotional, they just thinking with logic of how to defend themselves. That's it. So you got women that will put themselves through that drill, and you have men that will do the same as likewise as well too. They go through that what if moment. What would you do if you are actually put in a situation, a life-threatening situation, where you have to defend yourself, per se? Okay, so 9 times out of 10, these trainings, or whatever the case might be, I've done it myself, and it has helped me in ways to be more secure in how I will go about, executing my decisions, or, the effectiveness and efficiency of my decisions, being tested. And it makes me more aware and alert of what to do in those situations or crises, or whatever the case might be. Okay, so that's just my mindset. And again, I call it PEOD, personal drills of emergencies. Okay, so that's my thoughts on how the act of consistency is sufficient and stable. And even in that PEOD, that personal drills of emergency, there's a maintenance of stability in that as well too, because it will build up your confidence and allow you not to get in that frozen state where you don't do anything. Okay, so yeah, that's something to consider and mind out for. It's something is a choice that you choose to make, or a decision that you choose to make, if you want to allow yourself to go through these personal drills of emergency actually, or you can have the discussion or talk about it and actually get down to the nitty-gritty of it. What if moments, what would you do in those situations? It has nothing to do with it, the trivial part of it. It has a lot to do with the action, the effect, and the efficiency of the decisions that y'all will make and how to go about executing it. Execution part is just basically you testing it out. Just like when you have in school, you have the children go through fire drills, but just in case if there is a fire, even when in your workplace, you go through fire drills, preparation and things like that. So you always have to, keep your mind equipped out for these things, along with taking action. Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about, and last but not least, is why it's important to develop a consistent lifestyle that is non-routine but reputable in action. And reputable basically has a lot to do with the person's reputation. Okay, so a habitual lifestyle is one thing, and that is something where it's healthy and productive. Habitual lifestyle, I don't mean you wake up every day and you're like, oh, I'm going to go smoke weed because it gets me all, going and everything, get my mind flowing. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that wake up in the morning, give themselves time to collect their thoughts, give themselves time to actually get ready for the day. That's what I'm talking about. And every thought is basically calculating on what you're going to do. Okay? And like I said, the decisions that you choose to make are usually healthy and productive. Okay? All right, so now moving along to making an impact or a remarkable impression on others. That's something that is very important as well too, because when you are able to make an impact or a remarkable impression on somebody, mainly an impact, that means you made a difference in the world if you're able to impact somebody's life. I don't care who it is, because how you make that person feel or what you've done, that person will always remember, opposed to all the things that you said. And sometimes it can flip, sometimes it can vary. But a remarkable quote that I always kept in mind was by Maya Angelou, where she said, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So that impact that you make in people's lives will make a total difference, okay? And like I said, sometimes it can vary. Sometimes people remember what you said directly, because sometimes you might make that sentimental connection to the person verbally, and it might change their whole life. Okay, but actually making an impact in a person's life, or whatever the case might be, that person 9 times out of 10 will remember those things opposed to the things that you said. Okay, so you making a remarkable impression, and you just being who you are, uniquely yourself, people will keep that in mind. Okay, it's not so much of you trying to get the attention of people, or whatever the case might be, because it's not about that. Especially with a person that is remarkable, it's not about attention. It's about them living with a purpose, and extending that purpose and bringing out the best in other people. That's what remarkable people do, and people that make an impact in people's lives. Okay, and then going back to that, living with the purpose by all means, and not living on purpose by any means. Okay? And there's a difference, and it's not a trick or play on words. Living with a purpose by all means, meaning you living out your purpose to your fullest potential. Okay? You extending yourself, and you allowing yourself to be. You allowing yourself to evolve, and you are living out your life purpose, your life goals, and things like that, your purpose in life. Okay, so you doing that by all means to get the best, to be the best. Okay, now the difference between not living on purpose, when you are living on purpose by any means, that basically means you're going to go through the flow of emotions. Whatever you think is success, that's where you want to go. Wherever you see, things are thriving, that's where you want to go, or you want to get into, or you want to try to do everything what everybody else do. As I always say, the jack of all trades are the master of none. And if you that type of person, that just goes to show you are unstable, and you living on purpose. You're not living with the purpose. When you are driven or drive to, following the steps of somebody else or be like somebody else, you're not living out your purpose. You're living on purpose by any means. Okay? As in, if I make it here, then I'll just make it. If I'm making this certain type of salary, then that's good, because my salary is XYZ, and it got XYZ amount of zeros on there. I don't care if I don't like my job or not. I'm still just going to do it. You're living on purpose, not with a purpose. Okay? So that's the difference. People that live with a purpose by all means enjoy their life. Okay, along with the fact of dealing with reality and the realities of ups and downs in their lives. Okay, now the people that feel that they living on purpose, they always feel like they gotta owe somebody, or they gotta live their life in fear against somebody else, or to keep a certain lifestyle, or to keep a certain salary, they gotta live their life in fear. Okay, and that's facts. That's the reality. You just living on purpose by any means. It is what it is. Okay, so a routine lifestyle in a nutshell consists of people that know the same, famous for the same thing, different day. That's the routine, where nothing ever change by choice or reasoning in the person's life. Okay, now habitual lifestyle, going back to that is healthy and productive, is a lifestyle that is open to change and evolution, that is a necessity of the future. Okay, people that live on purpose don't really have a future. They go through the emotions. They go through their creature comfort. That's what they all go through. And that consists of people, places, and possession, and status quo. That's all they care about. Okay, and in that lifestyle, usually 9 times out of 10, they are very miserable. But they need things outside of themselves to make them happy or feel like they are of value or living with purpose, and they're really not. Okay, so with that being said, the broadcast has come to a close, and I'm just going to briefly go over what I discussed on tonight's broadcast. So I talked about why the consistency of thoughts will always be productive. I talked about how to maintain the consistency in your actions, and how the act of consistency is sufficient and stable. And then last but not least, why it's important to develop a consistent lifestyle that is non-routine but reputable in action. Another thing that I wanted to keep in mind too is that for those who feel like, okay, instead of me not living my life routine, I'm going to do spontaneous things or whatever the case might be. 9 times out of 10, when you're doing spontaneous things or whatever the case might be, you giving it a half thought and not a full thought of what you actually doing. It's still predicated to your emotions. Okay, what's going to give you that thrive? What's going to give you that rush? And that's not about living with a purpose or going about change. Because the same way how you do something spontaneous or something, just to go through the thrills of something, is the same way how the next day or a few couple of days you go back to the same lifestyle of how you lived again. Okay, and that's just facts. That's just the reality. Sometimes that could be real for, most of our lives, but at the end of the day, you got to find out what your purpose is in life. That's what matters at the end of the day, and you just having that level of consistency, okay, in your lifestyle. So with that being said, thank you all for taking the time out to listen to MENTELLECT Radio. Follow Nuben Mikares on Friday night. He's going to be having a show on MENTELLECT Radio, so you all can stay tuned on Friday. And Nzek Aminun to all the Inras and Inrus of the Republic of MENTELLECT. And thank you, once again, for listening to MENTELLECT Radio. Good night.
Rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of MENTELLECT, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can